With the source of data, we will mainly focus on two for source. First is the company office website, which will provide for the scale business and the financial report. The second source is the audited data by local government and the famous audit firms provide to the public. Okay, first of all, we will start with the Acer company. With the Acer, we will start with the market variable first. In this market variable, we will conduct into three factors. First of all is the crisis in the Asia, which is the headquarters of the Acer. We are actually in here. So when the crisis in Asia, it will affect directly to the supply and the demand of the Acer. So the supply and demand will go decrease. In here you can see very clearly. The second thing is the falling price 6% in the semiconductor products. So it's also helped to increase the supply and the demand of the Acer. But in the final point, you can see the joining of the main multinational company. It will affect a lot in the Acer, while the market is increased supply, but its competitiveness in here very high. For the government variables, we will have 2 points we can point out here. First is the trade barriers. That is consists the tariff the issue that is related to political and legal environment. When the tariff is set higher, for example, the Acer will need due to the decrease in the demand and also for the supply. First of all, because the increase in the price of the product and also it affects to the demand of the customer. The second point in here is the interest rate. Whenever the government set the interest rate higher or lower lower rate, it will affect directly to the supply and the demand of the Acer in here. When it increase the interest rate, it will be lower supply and demand. But whenever it decrease the interest rate, a lot of people and the customer will want to buy more product and have the better quality, so the supply of the Acer will be increased very much. Okay, now let's look at the industry factor. So the PC industry, they possess the characteristic of oligopoly market structure. As you can see, there are just a few numbers, so including HP, Dell, Lenovo, Apple, and therefore the entry conditions is very difficult because it requires a significant amount of investment and expertise knowledge, and also the type product is differentiated because it is a technological product with this constant innovation. The trend of substitute pretty high due to the rising popularity of using smartphone and PC topically because more convenient and portable. Acer constantly innovate its product, offering new products such as the Ultrabook or the 2-in-1 notebook. And because of that, its revenue and profit can still be seen growing, but steadily and slowly. Moving on to the environment factors, let's look at the interest rate of the Acer's main market, which is EMEA and Pan American market, according to its annual report. So in US and in Europe, this interest rate is maintained at low level by the government to stimulate the economic growth after the financial recession. And in Taiwan, where the Acer headquarters also had low interest rate to keep the financial stability. Therefore, Acer is prone to invest more while the customer have more money in their pocket to buy the product. Moving on to the inflation rate, overall the economy is suffering from low inflation due to the decreasing in oil price, slow economic recovery, and the anchoring of inflation expectation. Therefore, Acer can also buy material at cheaper price and also invest more confidently. However, low inflation rate indicate weak economic growth and also can affect the demand of customer.
Okay, so next we will talk about the Vietcom Bank, one of the 4 state-owned banks in Vietnam. So firstly, it's about the market variable, because like the customer demand plays a very important role in the success of the business. Therefore, the variable that we choose is the taste and the preference of the Vietnamese retail consumer. Here we have two main trends. The first trend is about the population, because the Vietnamese population is getting older, and this means that people tend to deposit more money into the bank for their retirement savings, and they also had less demand for borrowing large amount of money, and also they will have more demand for saving, for asset management and other consulting services. And the second trend is about the young generation, because with the development of the technology, they tend to prefer online transaction via mobile and devices and internet. And these two trends have indicated that if Vietcombank can, develop its product in order to suit with the customer taste and demand, so they will be able to gain more profit and the revenue. And next is about the industry variable. Here we can see that Vietcombank is operating in a monopolistic market, which means that there are low barriers to entry and a high number of players. In fact, Vietnam is now having over 100 different banks and financial institutions across the country, making the market highly competitive. Therefore, in order to successfully gain revenue and profit, Vietcombank will need to differentiate its product. And here, this leads us to our variable of the technology change. And in fact, Vietcombank has applied very successfully the change in technology to develop over 2,000 ATM machines nationwide. They also have a very successful e-banking system and has issued more than 2 million bank cards. And this explains why the revenue and the operating profit of Vietcombank keeps increasing over the years.
Okay, so in terms of government variable, one of the factors that affects Vietcombank's revenues is that the State Bank of Vietnam had decided to reduce several interest rates, especially in 2017. One of them is lending rate. Actually, this plan, the State Bank of Vietnam tried to reduce several rates, especially the lending rate a few years ago. However, due to the inconsistency between the regulator policy and the bank's business condition, that the lending rate hardly declined as expected. That is the reason why the Vietcombank's revenue remained unchanged or increased steadily until 2016. Okay, so in terms of environment variable, unlike other companies working in the manufacturing sectors, in the banking industry, the bank like Vietcombank can be affected by the weather condition, including acute climate change or chronic climate shift. In the direct way, the Vietcombank's infrastructure can be damaged after phenomena of climate change, which can be predicted. However, the bank like Vietcombank is mainly affected by the indirectly main factor, which is their customers. So, for example, if household and corporation who are customers of Vietcombank working in the agriculture field, after phenomena of climate change, they are likely to lose their property, which result to the inability of paying debt. So Vietcombank can face to bad debts and or lose customer. Eventually, Vietcombank can lose the total revenue. Okay, so that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.